So again, welcome to the proof of payment and source document training. I have the email DED.compliance@nebraska.gov there if you want to write that down, or if you already have it, that's great. Any question you have regarding compliance, please send us an email through that there. So to begin, before starting here, I got several key points to make before this presentation. So the first one is it's important for the program managers or rep to understand how and who's paying the bill. So if a source other than DED recipients is paying the bill, just make sure that you're able to trace the funds paid out to DED recipients used to pay back the entity that paid the bill. Costs incurred should be verified and matched. Verify that the reimbursement amounts are related to the project. That's important. And by the way, if anyone has any questions, please go ahead and say as we're going through these slides here. For if you have a service contract with a nonprofit organization, ensure proof of payment and source documents are provided when drawdowns occur. Just sending hours alone, for example, is not sufficient for proof of payment or source documentations when you are approving drawdowns. Any and all current pending drawdowns will be required to have the awardees provide proof of payments and source documentations. And again, just to reiterate, the sole purpose of this training is to demonstrate what proof of payment and source documents would look like when you're verifying said all statement above. So let's go ahead, and first thing we'll do is define what proof of payment is. It's pretty much copy of a check, confirmation of a credit card or debit card payment, confirmation of a wire or automated clearinghouse transfer, and any other information required to demonstrate that the payment has been made according to EPA requirements in the amount due and identified the facility name. So most of you guys will probably know all this already. Like I said, this is more of a surface level training, followed by other trainings in the future. And as we're going here, the source or expense document, it's just the original document that contains the details of the business transaction. It captures the key information about a transaction, such as the name of the parties involved, amounts paid, if any, the date and substance of those transactions. Any questions so far? So we'll start here with the common types of source documents. The first one, most of you would already recognize, is the itemized receipts. These shows the merchant's name, transaction dates, amount paid, description of the purchased items, just all the information you need just from a common receipt. Next, what we typically see here are invoices. Some invoices may look different, some may look similar. The example I have here will probably look like this, but typically you would see, the merchant's name, the invoice date, amount billed, detailed description of the billed item, description of additional charges, i.e. tax, service, delivery, etc. Here's just another example of what it may look like. Again, it does look similar, but you kind of want all the information invoices here. Next thing that some of you guys might see is the AIA documentations. These are typically the G703/G702. You want to make sure all information is on here, especially the signatures, along with G703 would be like the breakdown of the materials. So this would typically be the first page here with everything signed. And then this would be the detailed materials. I'll also provide the slides along with the recording as well. We'll move on to the common types of proof of payments here. Most common ones, we'll begin with the cleared or canceled check. These are photocopies of front and backs of checks that has ran through or cleared from the receiving bank. So typically these checks have their check numbers, check date issued, bank name and address, payee name, payer's name, the amount on the check, and you want to match the invoices unless additional documentations for tracking is shown, as well as the clearance dates, and these are usually found in the back of the checks that's scanned through. Another one is a financial statement or bank statements, what you would call it. It just shows evidence that the funds were transferred through. They usually show the debit amount of what the awardees have paid out. And, you know, it's a bank statement. Another type that you would see that's the awardees may provide is a credit card statement. Credit card statements can show proof of payment or the expense being paid against the credit card balance, but you would want the awardees to also provide you the check or bank statement that shows that the amount is paid for the credit card purchase. Other types of source documents and proof of payments are third-party servicers or Nebraska title companies. You may have seen this before. So typically, for proof of payment, what we would like to see is a bank statement showing the amount paid to, for example, the Nebraska title company, a Nebraska title company check, or receipt and waiver of merchants or mechanical lien rights. That last one there, it's kind of a one-off situation. But if you do have any one-off situations or any proof of payment source documents that doesn't match what we kind of are going through, please send that through the DED Compliance email and we can take a look at that. Source documentation here through, say, a third-party servicer would be just a detailed invoice of what, for example, the Nebraska title company paid to AIA documentation. Another one is vehicle reimbursements, and these are personal vehicles that an employee use that the awardees would have to pay for. And typically what we want to see for proof of payment is canceled check, bank statements, or pay stub indicating the payment for mileage for the said employee. Source documents would be a mileage record. Anything that helps us see how they're tracking these miles and how they're being paid. So the mileage record would include the date, time is optional, of each journey entry, the total distance covered, so you can record the odometer reading, start and ending, or total miles, the destination of each drive, and a description of the purpose to ensure that that's what they're doing for the specific project. Partial payments of any kind will need to be verified. So if you have a total monthly payment, a check is written for part of a payment, and the awardee claims the reimbursement amount is part of a check written. You'll need them to kind of give a further explanation of why it was partially paid and then why we're waiting for the other payment, and then verify if the rest of the monthly payment will be paid. So if they're paying part of using a credit card and only paying part of that, ensure that uh, they have an explanation for you, and also verify that if they're paying, the other half of the credit card, that they show you proof of that, say for the next month. Um, some of you may run into payroll source and proof of payments here. So some examples of, I'm sorry, did anyone say anything? All right, I'll continue. So some examples here for source documents and proof of payment for payroll would be the time sheets of the employees, payroll registers, payroll batch documents, payroll earning reports. Proof of payment would be bank statements, pay stubs, or direct deposit details. Then here are just examples of multi-payroll checks if they're being deducted from the grantee's bank statement in one lump sum. Attach a copy of the payroll earnings report indicating the total amount, and include the pay stubs and bank statements. So these are just some scenarios you might see. I'll still read it all here. In case where third-party servicers pay the recipient's payroll, when using third-party payroll service, the department will expect to see payments to the third-party payroll servicer by DED recipient, along with proof that the third-party payroll servicer paid the employees during the time the wage were charged against the awardee. DED recipient provides a payroll report showing the payroll check out to the third-party servicer for payroll periods, which correlates with source documentations that identify how hours worked were charged against the awards and the cost of those hours worked. That's a very long sentence, I know. In addition to the payroll report, the proof of payment needs to include a bank statement showing the check or electronic withdrawals amounts that link the payroll report to the same amount the payroll and the payroll period. So all that seems a lot. Again, if you see these here, um, don't hesitate to send an email and we can verify that for you. And last but not least, some examples of source documents and payrolls. I kind of just listed 3 here, but they most of them, all of them with a few exceptions, follow the same guidelines with source documentations and payroll or proof of payment. So if anyone purchased an item through a credit card, the source document would be an invoice or an itemized receipt. The proof of payment, along with the credit card statements, you want the awardees or recipient to show a bank statement showing that they paid the credit card or a canceled check. If items are purchased with a check, the source documentations would be an invoice or an itemized receipt again. Proof of payment would be canceled check or a bank statement. Vendor invoices, hopefully most of them should provide you with an invoice along with a proof of payment, such as a bank statement or a canceled check. Like I said, that we're coming near actually the end here.
Drop? You fall or something?
Any well,
You
well,
okay? Yeah. I heard something.
again, this training here is a very high level. Just showing you what some of these proof of payments and source documentation might look like. I know there's going to be one-off stuff that may look a little different. Again, don't hesitate to send an email. You can contact me and we can go through it. That way everyone can learn. And this is just the first training of other more in-depth training in the future. So if you have any questions, this might be a good time to answer. Otherwise, hopefully it's just a short and efficient training and we'll have more to come. Yep.
Aaron?
All right, guys. Yes.
So I appreciate that it's a high level discussion and training. But I know from experience that credit card payment documentation is a bear to work with. Are we planning on like trying to outline that? Like, because I don't know. I mean, it's easy and simple, like for a community to put something on their community credit card, but it's not so easy and simple for us to have them verify that the costs have been paid because they think that I paid a credit card. So here's my credit card statement. But of course, we need the statement that, or that we need the we paid our credit card statement part too. So I guess what I'm trying to get at is there any way for us to educate our applicants and subrecipients or recipients, if that's the term that y'all use, to sort of say like, look, the easiest and most efficient way for you to pay for costs that you're charging against your grants from DED is to do it this way versus, trying to like, you know what I mean? Can
Yeah.
we give some outward guidance kind of across the board that says, this is the easiest way to do it this way. This is also a way to do it. We don't encourage it.
And I think that might be, and I have thought of that. Primarily, I would like the program managers or anyone who work with the awardees to educate them or say something with that, or we can, as a compliance department, send something out to help the awardees understand what's easier and what's not. But
Yeah.
that,
In response to that, this is Audrey Sauter, the compliance team manager. Something that we did discuss that Aaron didn't hasn't touched on is that we want to take some of our training and make it external. And so we'd like to, and we've been requested by program staff to take this training and turn it into an external training for our subrecipients, awardees, grantees. And we could do that along with doing kind of like a best practices like information guide or something like that, if that would work.
Yeah, I think that'd be great.
awesome. Thanks, Audrey.
Yep.
Yep. So thanks, guys. Look forward to future trainings onward, and if there isn't any more questions here, have a
There were
good
a couple
afternoon.
of questions in the there was a
Oh,
question,
there.
couple questions in the chat. And we can get those answered for you offline if that's okay, guys.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see that. Gina, let me find some information on that for you, and then I'll send it over your way.
And we can circulate the answers to the questions too as a like kind of an FAQ coming if we get questions from everybody offline. In addition, can come up with some FAQs for internal as well, addressing these questions.
Yep. And I don't know what's the best way here. I'll probably just send out a mass email with the video link, and I'll post the questions on there as well, or the answers to the questions. All right, guys, once again, thank you.